TEP production. Giving out instruction. Hey. I just keep it intact, this is a fact, right and exact, I won't step back. Admiration is the feeling that inspires your brain to make you gain self-knowledge, not go insane. I'm Satan's antagonist, acknowledge what I speak. I cannot be duplicated cause I'm born unique. Brother Kareem told me if I want it, I gotta take it. Kareem told me if we need it, we gotta make it. Nasir just said stand up and be a man. You're planning to fail if you fail to plan. Keep your circle tight, know your plight, fight with all your might. Study hard, stay in shape and everything will be alright.
This beat is slapping, before I make it happen I just wanna ask, may I rise higher with fire, made brighter than May, sharp lines, may climb and rhyme and may timing like sirens, may my thoughts may spray as I sway, may play with the day, may each bar may spark from the dark, may making the arc, may I shift, may gifted with riffs, may lifted no myth, may move clean, smooth in between, may carving out the scene, may words guide my glide as the tide, may ride on the inside, may minds free, may deep in the key, may shape in the sea, may I shine, may prime in my rhyme, may throw in the sign, may break norms, may storms in the red form, may lightning is born.
Let's go.
I don't know how I got here. I just know I'm never going back. Just when I thought things were already crazy, it gets worse.
I'm back.
Quan?
Sapphire struggles to deal with her husband's alleged betrayal and coming to terms with Quan being alive after thinking he was deceased. Devante tries to keep a level head while dealing with family issues and unexpected disloyalty. Memories of Dre enters Devante's life in a way that he would have never imagined.
Fire Part 2, the finale.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Peace. This is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. I hope everyone's enjoying their Thursday evening. This topic I have today is a very important and dire topic. We must protect our elders. Now, it's a uptick on young white boys and white girls, adults. They're young, but I call them boys and girls because that's where they behave, attacking our elderly. Now, I don't know how other people raise their children, but I know I was raised to respect my elders. Nowadays, people don't respect their elders. Young people don't respect their elders. I'm not going to say that their parents didn't teach them to respect their elders, because a lot of times children don't go in the way that their parents taught them. They stray away from what their parents taught them. It's a lot of young people and people in general just far removed from what their parents taught them. and their disrespect to, towards the elders is appalling. Now, we disrespect our elders, but others disrespect our elders on another level. Put their hands on them, beat them up, stomp them out, talk crazy to them. And when I see this, when I see videos of someone disrespecting an elder of ours, my sentiment is that they are trying us, and they're saying something about us if they feel that they could disrespect our elders, and they don't fear a repercussion from that, a consequence from disrespecting one of our elders. Now, back in 2019, in Clayton County, Georgia, a 25-year-old white girl named Hannah Payne, she chased down a 62-year-old Kenneth Herring, a driver who left the scene of a minor crash after running a red light. This was back in 2019. The incident occurred in Clark Howell Highway near I-285, in May of 2019, when Payne, who was not even involved in the initial collision, pursued Herring to Riverdale Road at Forest Parkway. Witnesses say she cut him off like she was a cop, and the police even said she was playing cop. They said she cut him off, and during the confrontation, she shot and killed him. She took his life. She shot him. Now, playing cop. Now, if they can say she's playing cop, they're saying that she's doing what they do. Now, again, she wasn't even involved in the incident, and she chased him in her vehicle. She jumped in her vehicle, chased him, cut him off, and ultimately shooting him and taking his life. Now, there was a 5-day trial in 2023, and a 12-person jury, they found her guilty on multiple counts, including felony murder, malice murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and 3 counts of weapon possession during the crime. The jury deliberated less than 2 hours before reaching a unanimous verdict. They found her guilty. And on December 15th, 2023, Judge Jewel Scott sentenced Payne to life in prison with the possibility of parole plus 8 consecutive years for false imprisonment and 5 consecutive years for firearm possession. This means she would be eligible for parole after serving at least 43 years. The victim's family, including siblings, testified that they wanted a life sentence without parole, saying that they could never call him if they wanted to or visit him if they wanted to, like her family can do with her. Now, Payne has appealed her convictions, arguing that her counsel failed to instruct the jury that her actions could be considered in the defense of the victim or as a citizen's arrest. A citizen's arrest does not mean that you get to shoot someone. And acting in the defense of a person doesn't mean that you get in your vehicle and you chase that person down. That's if that person is on the scene. You don't get in your vehicle and you chase a person down, cutting them off, and then you draw a weapon and shoot them. A citizen's arrest is one thing. Now, she said that the trial did not properly present these defenses despite Georgia's 2021 repeal of a citizen's arrest statute The state maintains her counsel's decision was reasonable and that she has not proven the jury's verdict was affected. Now, the case drew national attention with speculation about possible racial motivations, and it was a racial motivation because I doubt she would have approached an elder white man the way she approached him, Mr. Herring, drawing a weapon on him. An elder. She's 25 years old. The man's 62. And she drew a weapon on him, cut him off, chased him down, and cut him off and pulled a weapon and shot him. Now, and some commentators suggested race may have played a role, but prosecutors stated that they did not pursue hate crime charges, calling it too simple to say that it was a black and white situation, which I thought it was a black and white situations when I heard about this situation. The case drew national attention with speculation about racial motivations, and Payne remains incarcerated, serving her life sentence with the possibility of parole and after 43 years. The appeal is ongoing, with the Georgia Supreme Court expect to hear her oral arguments. Now, this is what you call self-entitlement. When you think that you could jump in a vehicle. She wasn't involved in an accident. In acting on behalf of a victim, that's if someone's being beat up, someone's being, violently attacked, then you can act on behalf of a victim. But if someone is fleeing and police are there, what makes you think you can get in your vehicle as a citizen and chase someone down, chase an elder brother down, and confront him, cut him off in your vehicle like she was the police, and then shoot him dead? Now, a recent situation happened in I think it's Fort Wayne, Indiana, where an elder, 75-year-old black woman, she was disgruntled with her order at a coffee shop, and a argument ensued. It was a back and forth. The employee was in back of the shift lead. She pushed the shift lead to a side and confronted the customer. She pushed the elder woman. The elder woman defended herself as much as she could, pushed her off her when she accosted her in a violent manner. She knocked the lady down, punching her repeatedly. This was an elder, a 75-year-old woman. And I believe the young lady, the young white girl, was like 21 years old. So she beat up a grandma. She beat up a grandma, 75 years old, really old enough to be her great grandma. She beat up the 75-year-old woman, punching her, kicking her, stomping her repeatedly. They said that they gave her water. They tried to give her some type of comfort, but she became unresponsive and unconscious, and she eventually succumbed to her injuries. Now this situation, it pissed me off because my sentiment is, if someone put their hands on our elders or on our women, my sentiment is that they're trying the men. They're trying us. They don't fear consequence. to their, they don't feel consequence of what can happen for putting their hands on our women or our elders. And to see that video of that young lady kicking and stumping and punching that elder woman, and the news, how the news reported it, stopping it, pausing it, manipulating it, trying to make it seem like that the elder woman was the aggressor. Try to make it look like she was the aggressor and she started it because regardless to what some of our people think, the ignorant among my people, racism still exists, never went nowhere, and white supremacy still exists, never went nowhere. I know some of my people talk about, they say, well, nobody's superior to them. I agree with that, but that's a mindset that they have. That's a mindset that they have. White supremacy is a mindset. We don't share the sentiment, but they have that mindset with absolutely no reason to have it. They don't do nothing superior to anyone. They don't show no greatness. Yet, they walk around thinking that they're superior to people. Now, I have videos I want to show consistent with what I'm speaking about. Yeah, our elders need to be protected. It should be dire consequences when someone disrespect or put their hands on our elders. Dire consequences. We should have preventative measures, and we should have a way we respond when things like this happen. And it should be established emphatically what will happen if you put your hands on our elders. We're not supposed to tolerate people stomping and beating or even talking crazy to our elders. I don't think a young person should talk crazy to an elder at all. No elder. Now, what should have happened at that coffee shop is the shift lead should have sent the employee out of the customer's sight and handled that situation to remedy the situation. Ma'am, how can I fix this? Let me fix this. Let me fix your order. Because the employee had no business coming out from behind the counter to confront a customer. I don't care if he was being berated. That's an elder. Yet, the shift lead stood right there. Two other girls stood right there and watched her stomp that old lady out, punch her, kick her, stomp her, to the point that she lost consciousness and ended up succumbing to her injuries. They stood right there and let her do that when she should have been sent out that elder's sight. Go in the back, go in my office, go in the back. Don't come from behind this counter. That was I'm going to show the video. But first I want to show part of this Hannah Payne story, the 2019 hit and run murder case where 25-year-old woman from Clayton County, Georgia, chased down a 62-year-old brother, Kenneth Herring, a driver who left the scene. And it turned out that the man had a medical condition. He wasn't drunk. The cop said he was inebriated. See, that's the thing. These cops don't know whether someone's inebriated or they have medical conditions. They don't even care. This man had a medical condition. He wasn't drunk. It's been times when cops locked people up who had a medical condition. A woman having a stroke, but the cop locked her up because she thought the lady was drunk or high. Where nobody get high more high and drunk more than cops. Look how many times you read a cop got pulled over by another cop, or a cop got arrested for drunk driving or killed somebody because they're in a patrol car drunk, driving crazy. But they pull people over being self-righteous. Somebody have a medical condition, but automatically they criminalize the motorist, arresting that person. And it's been times when people have died in the cell having a medical condition. They're telling the cop they have a medical condition, but the cop, in their sick, demented mind, want to criminalize everybody they encounter. They don't serve and protect. They want to criminalize everyone they encounter, making them criminals because they want to be jailers. They have protect and serve written on the vehicles, but they don't do that. They don't do that. And they're not even bound to serve and protect. They serve and protect businesses, not the people. I want to get into this video presentation. I'm not going to play it all, but I want to play enough of it.
To make its own statement. On May the 7th of 2019, defendant Hannah Renee Payne had the audacity to chase, corner, detain, assault, shoot, and kill an unarmed 62-year-old Kenneth Herring who was sitting in his own car. All because she didn't like his driving. She didn't like how he acted. This story begins with Kenneth Herring in his car driving along, and there's pretty much no doubt that he runs a red light in the area that we've all been talking about, near Forest Parkway and Riverdale Road. When he runs that red light, this defendant and another tractor trailer were coming toward that intersection. And Mr. Herring hits the trailer of the tractor trailer. This defendant sees it, and there's another witness who sees it, a correctional officer by the name of Terry Robinson. And everybody pulls off to the side to deal with the fact that there's just been a traffic accident. 911 is called to say, here we are, there's a traffic accident. Mr. Robinson calls 911, and so does the defendant. And there are the truck driver, the defendant, Terry Robinson, and Mr. Herring kind of hanging out on this scene. As it so happens, that just happened to be one of the worst traffic days in that area. 285 was shut down because a battery truck had caught on fire. So law enforcement is kind of blocking the entrance and exits for 285, and there's another accident somewhere else in that area. So traffic is piled up, cars everywhere, no one can really get anywhere. And it's taking law enforcement a few moments to get to the scene. Well, the defendant didn't like that.
She didn't like how long it was taking, and you'll hear that she called back. But you're also going to hear that Terry Robinson called. And he called because he had concerns for Mr. Herring. Mr. Herring appeared.
He probably seen that the man had a medical issue and was concerned for him being, acting as a human being. And he also probably seen how angry she was when she went after him.
Appeared somewhat confused after the accident. Kept saying, "Who hit me? What's happening?" Things along those lines. And then started saying things like, "I didn't do anything wrong." Some confusion going on with Mr. Herring. And Mr. Robinson is going to tell you that not only is he a correctional officer, he's a correctional officer at a medical prison. And that he made some observations of Mr. Herring that led him to believe that it was a medical issue. He did not observe anything that made him believe that Mr. Herring had been drinking or that he was under the influence of anything. Just that he was having some sort of medical issue. And he
medical issue on top of, being in a car accident. Of course, he was probably more than likely miscombobulated.
would say that it was consistent with medical issues he's observed in the medical prison with people who are having issues with diabetes. And he will testify that he also observed needles in Mr. Herring's vehicle while they're hanging out on scene. And he will tell you that for those 20 or so minutes that everyone is on this scene, no problems. As far as no arguments, Mr. Herring says nothing to the defendant. He does nothing to the defendant. There's no hand gestures. Your number one in my book, I was talked about some in jury selection, none of that. Because Mr. Robinson knew it's best to keep everybody kind of separated and calm. So it's a pretty calm scene. And he will also tell you that there was extensive damage to Mr. Herring's vehicle. Stuff coming out the front, fluid leaking out of the bottom. It's not going to be running for long. He realized at some point, Mr. Robinson did, that Mr. Herring's kind of circling his vehicle. And they begin to think, he doesn't know what's going on. He might get in his car and drive somewhere. So that's why Mr. Robinson calls 911 a second time saying, "Listen, I asked y'all for an ambulance 20 minutes ago. Something's not okay here. Something's wrong with this gentleman. Where's the ambulance?" And the defendant calls. "Well, I called y'all 20 minutes ago." And then starts saying, "I think he's going to leave the scene." And sure enough, Mr. Herring does get in his vehicle and begin driving. And the defendant, even though the first accident really didn't have very little to do with her, has the audacity to get in her vehicle and chase him. And while she's driving off, Mr. Robinson is basically saying, "Well, maybe you can get a picture of the tag or get the tag number. Maybe you can get that information." The defendant is narrating what she's doing to the 911 operator, who of course, tells the defendant, "Ma'am, don't chase him. That's not safe. Don't follow him. We don't need you to do that." But this defendant, as far as she was concerned, was the rightest person she knew. Because she tells that 911 operator,
That's entitlement and audacity for her to chase that man in the first place. She don't have a police vehicle. She don't have overhead lights. She don't have a siren to alert people that she's even in pursuit of a person. That's audacity and that's entitlement.
Well, I'm not going to follow him. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't like how he's driving, basically. And follows him. And you're going to hear from witnesses who say they saw the defendant, ironically, driving very aggressively to try to chase down the person who had a traffic accident a few moments ago, or 20, 30 minutes earlier. Cutting people off, almost hitting people, jumping over a median, to then block Mr. Herring in. You're not going to hear any evidence that she's law enforcement of any kind, has any authority to arrest him, write him any tickets, nothing. Just her authority comes solely from audacity. Blocks him in. And all of this is narrated on a 911 call. And you will hear the defendant screaming, "Get out of the car! Get out of the car!" And witnesses will tell you that she jumps out and is going straight to his driver's side. And one witness tell you she thought that she was hitting the window. But it turns out Mr. Herring's window is part of the way down. And that this defendant is reaching in to where Mr. Herring is sitting in the car, in the truck. A vehicle that she basically pulls over, even though, number one, she was told not to. Number two, she had already given law enforcement his tab number. And number three, she knew that law enforcement was in the area. You can hear.
She had already given law enforcement the tag number. She cornered them. And this, I never heard this part. She was actually hitting the man through his window. And then I guess he got out, or I don't know if he got out or not. But she ended up shooting him and killing him.
You'll hear that because she talks about it on the 911 call. And she knew that the car wasn't going to go very far. She says that on the 911 call. His car's smoking and stuff, so he's not going to get far. So she could have backed off and just let it be. Nope, not good enough. So she's jumping out screaming. And the witnesses will tell you that they observed her being the primary aggressor. The defendant reaching in and assaulting Mr. Herring. And that they never saw Mr. Herring do anything to the defendant. The most that anyone saw Mr. Herring do is kind of a get away from me. He doesn't know he doesn't know her. Kind of a get away. But they never saw him strangle her, hurt her, punch her, nothing. And nothing in his hands. Unarmed. But what happens is because Mr. Herring is trying to defend himself, he moves his vehicle, or either his vehicle goes into gear, is already still in gear. Either his vehicle is still in gear, and while he's trying to deal with the defendant at his door, his car moves forward. And what happens is that he bumps into her Jeep. Her black and pink Jeep. And she's going to tell you, you're going to hear her say that that's why she shoots him. And once that happens, you'll hear an escalation in what she's saying. Get the fuck out of the car! Get the fuck out of the car! I will shoot you! I will shoot you! That's what the witnesses heard. This is not something she's saying to herself in the privacy of her own vehicle for her own release. She's standing right up on Mr. Herring with a gun in her hand. The witnesses will tell you at some point while she's at the door, she takes a gun off her hip and is pointing that gun in the vehicle. She's the aggressor. That's what the witnesses are going to tell you. You'll hear all of this because she's still on the phone with 911. Phone's a little further away from the window because it's on the ground. Mr. Herring is trying his best not to get shot at this point. Still no weapon. Still trying to get the gun away from him, away from her, whatever. She's the only one with a weapon. So he is trying to defend himself. And after she shoots him, she picks up the phone with the 911 operator going, ma'am, you are not supposed to follow him. She's going to tell you. The very first thing she says, he hit my car. That's what she says. You will hear her tell you in her own.
She cut the man off. She cut him off like she was a cop. And then she attacked him, hitting on him. And he tried to pull off. And that angered her, so she shot him.
Own words. Why she killed this man. Then she tells the 911 operator, he pulled the trigger on my gun and shot himself. That's the level of audacity you're going to hear. Trying to claim this man would shoot himself. When we believe that the evidence will show through the witnesses, video, photographs will prove otherwise. We expect that you will hear that the law will tell you that doesn't matter anyway. Because if she's the primary aggressor, Mr. Herring can defend himself. But he still never has a weapon, gets out of the car, or does anything. Other than, as you will see, hands up. Maybe trying to get her out of his window. Law enforcement is in the area. In fact, she's still basically on the phone with 911 when they get there. Because, as I just told you, there's a lot of traffic in the area. Cars can't really go anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere fast. So there are other drivers who watch this happen. There are people who are behind the defendant, behind Mr. Herring's car, beside Mr. Herring's car. There are witnesses who watch it. And one of them runs to where he can see that the police are blocking the interstate and comes down there and says, she just shot somebody. Somebody just got shot. Please come down here. And law enforcement gets there. And as soon as they arrive, they ask, who shot? And the defendant says, I did. And is allowed to politely hand over her gun to a police officer. And you'll see some additional audacity of kind of arguing with the witnesses on scene before she's taken into custody on that scene. You're going to hear from several of those eyewitnesses who were in that traffic area, who will tell you who they saw armed, who they saw being aggressive, who they saw being violent.
She was the aggressor through the whole entire ordeal. She was bloodthirsty, and she had a sense of entitlement, which is why she chased him, thinking that she could act as law enforcement and chase this man down and expected him to comply with her orders, yelling to him, get out the car. You know what kind of mentality you have to have? You're not even law enforcement and you yelling, get out the car. That means you have a sense of entitlement. Like that elder is supposed to adhere to what she's saying. It's crazy.
And that it was never at any moment Kenneth hearing. You'll be able to hear the defendant's own demeanor afterward, because for some bit of time she's still talking to 911, and you'll hear her say, "Well, I'm okay, or I'm safe, but he ain't. Now he needs paramedics." You'll be able to see after the one of the witnesses, who happens to be driving by, pulls out his cell phone and videos what portion of it that he could capture. And so not only will you hear her demeanor, her audacity, what we contend will be her malice, you'll be able to see some of it. You will see what happens. She picks up her phone.
Yeah, they charged her right too, because it was malice murder. And I think it was more than malice murder. I think they should have used the hate crime against her, because it was that malicious. She shot that man because she hated him. So she should have been charged with a hate crime. And it was racially motivated. It was, because she wouldn't have done that to an elder white man. She would not have done it to a white man that was elder to her. No, she wouldn't have.
Tells them he needs paramedics and walks off. Walks off to her car. During this, she puts on another shirt, hangs out. The law enforcement gets there. You could hear that there's documentation in the vehicle consistent with Mr. Herring being on insulin. You're going to see that there's needles in the car. His sister is going to tell you that he was an insulin-dependent diabetic. You're going to hear from the medical examiner, who will tell you that this gunshot was the cause of his death, and that all of his toxicology screens were negative. He was not drinking. He was not on drugs. Nothing. But we expect that you'll hear some further audacity today regarding trying to say some bad things about Mr. Herring. We expect that you'll hear some claims that Mr. Herring was the aggressor, despite the fact that he was chased down and cornered. And
You know how wicked you would have to be to try to paint Mr. Herring as the aggressor when she pursued him? You can't call a fleeing person the aggressor. You'd have to be wicked as hell to try to paint someone who, not even knowing they're being chased, as the aggressor. You have to be wicked. That's why, some attorneys suggest they would lie. They would paint a picture. They'll tell you what you see you're not seeing. Some of them, the whole system is just evil. America's jurisprudence is evil. Corrupt to the core.
and unarmed. That you'll hear a request to consider self-defense for this defendant, despite the fact that we expect the evidence will show that she's not defending herself. She's the aggressor. And anything Mr. Herring did would be to try to save his own life, even though he failed. You're also going to hear some scientific evidence. We're just trying to make sure that you have all of the evidence that we have that we can present to you. They attempted to get fingerprints off the gun. You'll see the gun. They weren't able to do so. There are some prints, but they didn't have anything sufficient to match it to. So no match it to any of the prints they believe that they can find on the slide of the gun. You gotta have a big enough surface to leave a fingerprint. So the slide of the gun is what they did. No match. They then swabbed the gun to see, let's see what the DNA is. And the only DNA that they can match to any one person is the defendant's own DNA is on the slide of that gun. Not a shocker, it's her gun.
After she said she shot him, after dispatch and witnesses say she said, "I'll shoot you," after she said, "I'm okay, but he's not, he needs paramedics," she tried to say that Mr. Herring put his finger on her trigger and pulled it. I mean, white people tell the most far-fetched, unbelievable lies and try to get people to believe it. I mean, that's a horrible lie. That's a horrible lie from a horrible person. She's a horrible, chin blending in with her neck person.
There were at least 3 DNA profiles on the gun. We know one is male, and that's all we know. One's the defendant, 2 additional, one is male, and that they could not match the male DNA to Mr. Herring. They couldn't create a match to the other 2 profiles. So we're just gonna make sure you know that there's gonna be some scientific evidence that's coming your way, just to make sure that you have the full picture. You're going to hear multiple 911 calls, 2 from Terry Robinson, 2 from the defendant, and 1 from one of the eyewitnesses. You'll see multiple photographs, body-worn camera of the initial responding officer, to just kind of, when you see kind of the chaos of the scene, how the vehicles are parked, all of those things. Okay, so I know this is, as we talked about when we were talking about it in jury selection some, we thought we were going to be putting up witnesses yesterday. So we have our exhibits numbered well in advance. So I promise you're going to think when we start telling you what exhibit we're tendering that we can't count. I promise that we can. We're just going to have to go in the order that we have to go in, because I've told you there are some professional witnesses. There are some out-of-state witnesses. And we thought we were going to put those people up yesterday. So we start out with, we're going to start with number 1. But if we end up jumping to number 12, we promise we can count. So just kind of bear with us. And then we have to go in the order now that we have to go in. That may not seem as smooth, but just to ensure that we are able to get all of these witnesses to appear before you so that you can hear the full story of what happened to Kenneth Herring on May the 7th of 2019. So we appreciate your attention on behalf of Mr. Herring's family. We appreciate your patience, your attention. And at the end of this trial, Hunter is going to come before you and talk to you about the audacity that you heard, about the malice that you are going to hear, about the felonies that were committed by this defendant with no justification whatsoever. And she will request that you speak the only verdict that tells the truth about what happened to Kenneth Herring on May the 7th of 2019. And that is that this defendant is guilty of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and possession of a firearm in the commission of a crime. Thank you.
And they found her guilty of all of that too. And she was guilty of all of that. All of what she did was preventable. All she had to do was just listen to what dispatch said. They told her not to do that. Just like they told George Zimmerman not to follow
that would identify her as any.
Let me run this back.
On Prime Crime. A young woman takes matters into her own hands.
She basically tries to invoke what we would call a citizen's arrest.
But when things take a deadly turn,
I didn't have my finger on the trigger. Man, she reached in and went in everything confidential and shot that man. He had to shoot that man like that.
is she to blame?
Whether she was guilty, not guilty, or whatever. The end result was tragic for both sides.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to Prime Crime, where we break down the most compelling.
It wasn't tragic for both sides. All she had to do is not follow that man, mind her business, or the most she should have done is got his tag number, which they already had. They already had his tag number. She didn't have to do anything that she did. Pursuing him, violently attacking him, and then pulling the gun out and shooting him. She didn't have to do any of that.
Compelling and memorable true crime cases from across the country. A young woman witnesses a traffic accident, so she decides to jump into action, intending to help police. Instead, she becomes the focus of the investigation.
Clayton County 911 was the location.
Hey, we have an accident up here by Clark, Howell, and Forest Parkway. A truck, unfortunately, with a vehicle.
What kind of truck is it?
It's a semi-tractor trailer, and it is a pickup truck, Red Dakota.
It's May 7th, 2019, around 6 p.m. in Clayton County, Georgia. A Dodge Dakota pickup truck runs a red light and hits the trailer of a semi-truck, disabling it and badly damaging the pickup. Georgia Department of Corrections officer Terry Robinson witnesses the crash and calls 911.
Okay, does it appear that anyone hurt or injured?
Sir, do you need assistance? You need an ambulance? Sir, yes, sir, it's old steady. You need an ambulance, sister? He's not saying anything. Sir, you okay?
The pickup driver would soon be identified as 62-year-old Kenneth Herring.
Kenneth Herring was reported as being disoriented. He was asking questions. Who hit me? What's happening? He was walking around his vehicle, which was heavily damaged.
At first glance, it might seem like Kenneth Herring is intoxicated, but the caller works in a medical.
Hannah Payne actually said that he was not going to get far because his vehicle is badly damaged, smoke's coming out of it, liquid, probably antifreeze, oil, gas. You know, the car is leaking, and no car can run without oil, and the antifreeze and the fuel. You can't run without it. So the car was eventually going to stall, and she said he won't get far. But she decided to jump in her vehicle and chase him anyway and gun him down.
Medical prison, and his training tells him something else.
His call does not make it seem that Mr. Herring is under the influence of like alcohol or drugs. It actually makes it seem that he's having some kind of a medical event.
While Robinson waits for police to arrive, unbeknownst to him, another eyewitness has also pulled over. 21-year-old Hannah Payne.
There was just an accident. I'm sure they've already called, but I just witnessed it, and I just wanted to make sure that I called the police as well in case they didn't.
We appreciate you calling this in. We'll get someone out there and try to assist them.
What would we do without people that help? Hannah Payne.
We don't need that kind of help. We don't need that kind of help. The extent of her help should have been her making that phone call. That's all she should have done. And For her to think that she was acting on behalf of the victim by chasing the man down and pulling the gun out on him, ordering him out the car, hitting him, we don't need that type of help. Now, if that man was out here beating on people, harming people, threatening people, shooting people, that's different. But he didn't do that. That's not what he was doing. The man probably had a medical condition because they said he had insulin needles in his vehicle. He probably was having a medical condition, miscombobulated. So that's why he ran the red light and hit the other vehicle. But that wasn't for her to do. None of this was for her to do. She should have just made the phone call. If they say, okay, other people already called, that's it. That's the extent of your help.
Pain stop to offer assistance or to offer an explanation of how the accident happened.
She assumed that this was a person high on drugs or, inebriated under.
Yes, inebriated. She assumed that it was a person high on drugs, and her hatred for Black people also was an issue. She had this hatred for Black people, this inherited hatred for Black people also.
Under alcohol.
But as Robinson continues to observe the man, he's increasingly convinced Kenneth Herring may be having a medical episode and needs help. So when 20 minutes pass and no police or ambulance arrive, the corrections officer calls 911 again.
The driver who caused the accident, I think he's impaired. Something's going on with him. Then he's moving his ears. He's going to drive off now. He's driving off.
Robinson calls out to Payne, who's standing nearby.
Take a picture of the driver license. Take a picture quick.
What's the tag number?
Now, the other driver who was in she's going to take a picture of the Jeep.
Okay.
The lady in the Jeep was almost in the incident, so she turned around and she went after him. So she's going to take a picture of his vehicle and stuff.
It was clear from the 911 tape that they needed that tag number. They wanted her to get it. The correctional officer said, hey, can you?
They need the tag number, but they didn't need her to, chase him down, cut him off, pull a gun out and shoot him. They didn't need her to do that. And the corrections officer should have never told her to go after him. He should have said, don't do that. That's what he should have said. He should have never told her to go after him. To actually suggest that a angry white woman carrying a pistol on her hip go after somebody, it will always end like this. Always.
Can you go get the tag from that guy as he drove off? So when she took off, she felt as if she was justified to follow this car to get a tag to assist and help the police officer.
Payne calls 911 again as she follows the pickup.
Hey, can you get his tag number? Hold on. He's driving away. It's a red Dodge Dakota. One second. Hold on. I'm catching up to him right now. Okay, ma'am, we actually do not want you to chase him. We just want you to be safe. And I understand. Chase him.
The reason why she pursued him and chased him continuously after they told her not to is because she was armed. And she was moving maliciously. She wanted to do what she did, because if she didn't want to do what she did, she wouldn't have done it. She wanted to do this.
I understand 100%. I'm just going to get the tag number.
They initially tell her not to pursue and not to follow Kenneth Herring. She continues. She believes that he is not safe.
Now she said, I'm going to get the tag number. And she cut him off. All she had to do is get behind him, get the tag number, and that's it. But no, she cut him off like she was the cop, jumped out and ordered him out the car. And when he wouldn't get out the car, she went up to the car, started hitting him. And then when he defended himself from inside the car, she pulled a gun out and shot him.
Safe to drive.
he is drunk, I'm sorry that I'm here to tell you I'm not going to follow him because he is going to cause another accident.
Payne cuts off the pickup with her Jeep, forcing the driver to stop.
I believe anybody can understand obtaining the tag number from the vehicle. I believe it was this next step of blocking his vehicle, getting out of the car and making contact with him. That is the part that was kind of unreasonable. 911 dispatch tells her a few more times to not pursue, not follow, just to be safe. She continues. She ignores 911 dispatch.
Okay. So if you can go back to that location where the incident happened, it's because someone is actually on the way to you guys now. So I will stay behind him until an officer can get to us. But until then, I'm not moving.
She gets out of the car while she is still on the phone with 911. And when she makes contact with Kenneth Herring at his vehicle, you can hear her screaming and yelling at him to get out of the car multiple times.
Ma'am.
She has no badge, no identifying information that would identify her as any member of law enforcement that should be approaching his vehicle. And yeah, he's verbally combative, with her. Who are you? Why are you here? Like, you don't get to tell me to do anything.
The driver, Kenneth Herring, refuses to get out and at first appears to try to shoo Hannah away.
There's definitely some interaction that took place, but no one heard Kenneth Herring over the screaming and shouting of Hannah Payne.
He didn't do nothing to the point of she was in any type of danger because he didn't even exit the vehicle. He didn't pull nothing out. And you cannot be an effective fighter as the aggressor in that position. The only thing you can do is be on the defense. That's it. Unless you know how to, unless you're me or somebody like me, because you put your hand in my car, I can break your arm. But that's not what he did. It's not what he did.
He revs up his car. He was trying to pull her in the car and was driving, dragging her. She told him, hey, I got a gun.
This man right here is scum. He's worse than dirty gum under a shoe because he knows that's not what happened. He knows that's not what happened. He couldn't have moved that vehicle, no more than where the car was. So he wants us to believe that he tried to grab her and drag her. He's worse than damn dirty gum under a shoe.
Gun right here, I'll use it. I believe that they were fighting over the gun. His aggression, trying to tell her that you're not going to stop me. You're not the police. Get out of my way. And he grabbed the gun.
And if he did do that, she was the initial aggressor. He had every right to defend himself. If he did, and somebody pull a gun out on you, you have a right to struggle for that gun. You have a right to do it. So I don't know what he's trying to say. Whatever he did, he had a right to do. She had no right doing anything she did.
She didn't want to shoot. And as he was wrestling for the gun went off and he shot himself. She never pulled the trigger with intent to shoot him. They were fighting over the gun. His hands were on top of the gun, twisting it back towards her, and the gun went off. She immediately picked up the phone and said, oh my God, he just shot himself with my pistol.
Ma'am! Yes. Ma'am! He just pulled the trigger of my gun in my hand while he was... Ma'am, you were not supposed to follow him. We hit my car!
Dispatch is very upset at that time because they told her.
If you didn't follow him, he wouldn't have had a chance. He would have never hit your car if she didn't follow him. Her car would have never gotten hit. She should have just took the tag number, That's it. She did way too much. Way too much. And she only did this because it was a brother, and nobody cares really if white people shoot and kill us. And she thought she was going to get away with that. She thought that self-entitlement was going to kick in, and it's going to be some white supremacist prosecutors and judges that was going to hinder the prosecution. No, it didn't happen that way. That prosecutor ripped her, and the whole entire prosecutor's office ripped her till she's eligible for parole in 43 years. And they probably give her a hit when she go up for parole, because that's how malice that was.
Not to follow him. And then she begins to scream at the 911 dispatch, telling them to get an ambulance out.
There's a police officer down the street. Tell them to come up here now. He pulled the trigger on my gun after he attacked me. Tell the police officer to turn around.
See how, hysterical white women can sound while they're lying. She walked up to his vehicle and she said he attacked her. The man sitting in his vehicle, and he attacked her. It wouldn't be any contact whatsoever if she never walked up to that man's vehicle. And that man was defending himself from inside his vehicle. He never got out the vehicle. So how can he be the aggressor? It's impossible for him to be the aggressor sitting in his vehicle where she's at his window hitting him. You can only defend yourself but so much sitting inside a car.
From the 285 exit and come up here immediately.
Clayton County Police arrive at the scene.
Who got shot? Who shot him?
Right there in the Jeep. She got a gun. She just shot him.
I don't have my finger on the trigger.
Do you have any other guns in the car?
No, I don't.
They do disarm her.
I would have locked her ass up from the door. I more than likely would have drew down on her. Get your ass on the ground.
With the firearm, and the officer is attempting to speak with the witnesses on the scene to ascertain what happened.
Man, she reached in the window and everything, confrontational, and shot that man. He had to shoot that man like that.
Police handcuff Payne and detain her in the patrol car. Officer Ryan Ritchie and a medic attempt to revive Kenneth Herring until the ambulance arrives. And then, while Herring is taken to the hospital, police interview eyewitness Terry Robinson.
After that initial accident over here, how was the guy that was out?
All the witnesses, no witness said they seen what Hannah Payne said happened. None of the witnesses. All the witnesses say that she reached in that man's vehicle, hitting him, and then pulled out her gun and shot him. That's what all the witnesses say.
He was in here. He was something going on, man. His eyes was red. He was acting delusional. He was acting, kind of out of it.
That corrections officer observed Mr. Herring and knew something was wrong. He didn't know if it was a diabetic incident or if it was caused by the collision itself.
There's a bunch of needles in his car, so I don't know if that's diabetic related and that's why he hit the cars or what. He said he was not looking good. They took him to Southern Regional.
Kenneth Herring was described by his siblings as a kind of a father figure. He was very close to his siblings. He was the oldest and saw himself as a provider and a pillar of that family. And that is how they described him. He had adult children that he was also close to, but mostly his siblings were the ones who expressed their concern and their interest in the case.
Handcuffed and in the patrol car, Hannah Payne is taken to the police station.
I'm waiting on my partner, Detective Moore. She's going to be right up here, and we're going to sit down and have a talk with you.
Police.
Look at her smiling like she has no worries, like, yeah, I'm about to get away with killing this nigga. She's smiling with no worries, with such a self-entitled mentality. Bet she don't feel that way now.
Police have a lot of questions for Hannah Payne to determine who's at fault for what happened.
So when he was pulling at me, and that's when my finger, I put it On the trigger. Okay. And he's pulling and pulling.
We're gonna skip to another video consistent with the title and the topic. We sticking to this situation now, but I didn't want to play that video in entirety. It's kind of lengthy.
Full call for a preliminary hearing in case State of Georgia versus Hannah Payne charged in arrest warrant 2019 CW 52032 with the offense of murder without malice. The defendant is present, represented by Attorney Matthew A. Tucker. The state is represented by District Attorney Tracy Graham Lawson. This is Judge West presiding. Ms. Lawson, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Raise your right hand. Solemnly swear or affirm the evidence you're about to give this court in the case of the state of Georgia versus Hannah Payne will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Make sure you pull the mic up and state your name and occupation.
Good morning, I'm Detective Keon Hayward with Clayton County Police.
And to what unit are you assigned?
Major felonies,
And those include what?
homicides, armed robberies, home invasions, major crimes.
And how long have you worked for our police department?
5 years.
So on May 7th of 2019, did you have cause to have assigned you a case involving Hannah Payne?
Correct.
And approximately 6 o'clock on that particular evening, did an incident occur at Clark Howell Highway and Forest Parkway?
Correct.
And please explain to Judge West what had occurred at that intersection.
At that intersection, a hit and run or an accident occurred where a 2002 red Dodge Dakota ran the red light, struck a semi truck. And at that particular intersection, the defendant
Okay, I'll keep asking you questions. Okay, so an accident occurred, and who was driving the Dakota truck?
The victim, Kenneth Herring.
Mr. Herring.
Yes.
All right, and there was somebody else driving the semi truck.
Correct.
And how was Miss Payne involved, if at all?
She witnessed the incident. She was also stopped at that intersection where the victim ran the red light.
And what kind of vehicle was Miss Payne driving?
She was driving a black and colored Jeep Cherokee.
So did Mr. Herring stop at that scene?
Yes.
For approximately how long?
Approximately 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes.
And was there another individual that witnessed the accident that has a law enforcement background?
Correct.
And what was that individual's name, if you remember?
Mr. Robertson.
And what is his actual profession currently?
His name is Terry Robinson, and he's a state corrections officer.
And does he have any kind of special training that was relevant at this incident regarding Mr. Herring?
Yes, he works in the infirmary at our state corrections here in the location.
So he's medical training.
Correct.
And was he able to speak to Mr. Herring?
Yes.
And what did he smell any odor of alcohol about him?
No.
And what did he think was, based upon his training as a medic, what did he feel was occurring with Mr. Herring?
He believed that Mr. Herring was having a medical emergency.
And what was his opinion as to what the medical emergency was?
Probably a diabetic shock or something consistent in that nature.
And it was based upon what symptoms that he observed?
He observed Mr. Herring to have red to orange eyes. He observed Mr. Herring walk around his truck several times. He was disoriented. He was asking what happened, who hit me, what's going on, and that's how he explained it to Herring.
And police were called to the scene.
Correct.
And sometime after 15 to 20 minutes, what occurred with Mr. Herring?
Due to the fact that Mr. Herring was not apparent to be in good health, Mr. Robertson asked him to sit out of his truck, and then Mr. Herring parked up his truck, drove the engine and drove away.
Okay, was anyone at the scene calling authorities at that point in time?
Correct.
And who was that?
Miss Hannah Payne as well as Mr. Robinson.
And Mr. Robinson were he and Miss Payne having any exchange of conversation?
Yes.
And what did Mr. Robinson tell Miss Payne, or vice versa?
While Mr. Herring was driving off, he asked Miss Payne to get the tag, try to get the tag.
Meanwhile, Miss Payne's on the phone with 911 operator. And what is the 911 operator instructing Miss Payne to do?
To remain at the scene, do not follow Mr. Herring.
And did the 911 operator say that more than once?
Several times.
And what was the explanation given by the 911 operator?
The explanation
of why she should remain at the scene.
It's safer. Go back to the scene where it's safer. Uniform officers are around.
Okay. Did the defendant Payne remain at the scene?
No.
And what occurred after Mr. Herring left the scene? Did Miss Payne leave the scene, or did she remain?
She left the scene as well.
And what was she doing?
She proceeded to chase Mr. Herring westbound on Morris Parkway.
All right. Was she still talking to 911, or was she not?
Correct.
What was the reaction of the 911 operator when she realized the defendant Payne was chasing Mr. Herring?
She repeatedly asked Ms. Payne to stop.
Did the defendant Payne obey the 911 operator?
No.
All right.
The same exact thing that dispatch was telling George Zimmerman, don't pursue him. And they have this self-entitlement. They don't even listen to what the police say. Police dispatch told her, don't chase Mr. Herring. The same thing with George Zimmerman when he was chasing Trayvon Martin. They said, don't do it.
All right. And so what happened at about 6:20 between, if anything, between Payne and Mr. Herring?
Ms. Payne was able to position her vehicle in front of Mr. Herring's vehicle, forcing him to stop.
Okay, so in the English version would be she blocked him.
She blocked him in, yes.
And was he able to progress forward once she blocked him in?
No.
Was he able to retreat or back up and get away from her at that point in time?
No, there was heavy traffic at the intersection of Riverdale Road and Forest Parkway.
So in effect, he was in prison, falsely in prison.
Correct.
All right, and then were there any people at that intersection that observed what was occurring from when that happened on?
Yes.
And how many people did you or other officers speak to that observed what occurred from this point on?
Total of 4.
And did you talk to them, or did others talk to them?
I did speak with 2, and 2 other detectives spoke with others.
And how would you describe the traffic on May 7th at about 6:30 in the evening at that intersection?
It was pretty heavy due to the rush hour traffic, as well as uniform officers were directing traffic at the intersection of 285 on ramp as well at Riverdale Road.
And do you know why they were directing traffic?
Yes, they was responding to another call that was there where they had to redirect traffic.
Another wreck call?
Correct. So I'm not sure of the nature of the call, but it was something for them to have to redirect traffic.
All right. So what 2 witnesses did you interview that saw what occurred from this point on?
Miss Anita and Mr. Philip Garrison.
And were they in separate vehicles or together?
They were together. They are married though.
And so could you visually describe the intersection, or actually, can I get you to, if I give you a piece of paper, could you draw for us?
Now we're going to go to the next video. We're still on Hannah Payne.
I plead to the public.
Now, this DA, she had death threats after, if they were sent to her after Hannah Payne was sentenced to life in prison for murder, she received death threats. And that is their methodology when it comes to any type of justice that's given to them. I understand that justice is a reward or penalty, But Hannah Payne is on the penalty side of justice because of what she did. Hannah Payne is no way, shape, form, or fashion a victim. She was a pursuer. She victimized someone, so she's not a victim.
We have seen the statements that are on social media. I ask that you do not threaten either family. It's a tragedy all the way around. Justice has been served. The jury found Ms. Payne guilty, so please do not threaten the Herring family or the Payne family. Both families are still grieving. Let them grieve in peace without you threatening them. I beg of you, to those that have been online and sending those threats, please stop.
What she should have been saying is, I find out who's threatening her, we're going to prosecute.
We've told you about the epidemic of elderly people being scammed.
Now, listen to how the news try. The news, to me, is never-ending white supremacy. That's the news. That's the acronym for news. Listen to how the news try to make an excuse for what this man did to our elder sister. He's an elder, but she's an elder Uber driver. Because 81-year-olds or elderly people are being scammed, probably by somebody younger. An elder woman pulled up. I think she had the wrong address. And this man shot her, taking her life.
Scammed over the phone now.
I want to run this back.
We've told you about the epidemic of elderly people being scammed over the phone. Now it's turned deadly. An 81-year-old man ended up fatally shooting an Uber driver because he wrongly believed she was going to kill him. But she was on.
How was that woman, that elder woman, going to kill this man? And not only that, like my brother Maybach said, these people will lie naturally. They are natural liars. That man had that gun, and he would kill any one of us who would have came to that. Sometimes they even lure us. They'll even lure us. They'll order something and have us bring it. Because if some racist ass white men would chase a FedEx driver or delivery person who's one of us with the uniform on, claiming they don't know what he was doing, they'll chase him shooting at him. This woman's an elder herself. And that's what happened. He shot her. Wicked.
Unarmed, and they both were victims of an elaborate scam. Les Trent has more, and we warn you the video is upsetting.
This terrifying video shows an elderly man pointing a gun at an Uber driver. She had driven to his home to pick up a package. And she is backing away because he has just shot her in the leg. 61-year-old Lolitha Hall cries out for help and frantically
absolutely crazy.
Tries to explain why she's at his home. Yeah, I know what you're after. The deadly confrontation is caught on the Uber driver's dash cam and ends with the homeowner shooting her 2 more times.
I need the sheriff and an ambulance real quick out here. There's been a shooting. I shot her in the leg the first time, and I shot her in the shoulder.
William Brock tells 911 that he shot the Uber driver because he had just been threatened on the phone by a total stranger and thought they were working together.
Guy on the phone trying to get money out of me. He was telling me he was going to kill me and the family and everybody else around.
You can hear on the 911 call the wounded woman pleading for help.
Help me, please.
So why did the 81-year-old Brock believe the Uber driver was there to harm him? Investigators say it appears they were both victims of a scam. Cops say the elderly man received a call from a scammer threatening.
And his ass still should go to prison. Still should go to prison. And it's not even written that that should even happen. Because white people do lie.
His family and telling him that a relative had been arrested. The scammer ordered Brock to pay $12,000 or else. Cops say at the same time, an Uber driver, unaware of the circumstances, received instructions through the Uber app to pick up a package at Brock's home in South Charleston, Ohio. Investigators say they tracked the scammer's call to Canada, but believe it came from a burner phone number. Adam Ghana is an attorney who represents elderly victims of fraud.
Elderly people are constantly getting defrauded in America today. You should be expecting to see more and more stories like this.
I think all Americans are being, defrauded today because we pay taxes to all these agencies and these entities, and we paying these people to not serve us. So we are all being defrauded, all of us, especially elders who paid taxes for years and years and years, and when they become elders, the government don't want to take care of them. Barely give them health benefits, barely want to give them any type of benefits that suffice them in their everyday life.
As the scams become more sophisticated.
Brock has pleaded not guilty to murder. Uber says they have banned the scammer's account and are cooperating with the investigation.
We're going to move on. We're going to go over to Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, he shot a lot of people on top.
There's a lot of people there.
Now this, I know a lot of us is familiar with.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
On May 14th of 2022, 18-year-old Peyton Gendron,
he came from Pennsylvania, I believe, to Buffalo, New York. And he went inside the Top supermarket and just opened fire, shooting people, taking their lives.
And woke up with a mission, and that mission was to kill as many black people as possible. Armed with a Bushmaster XM15 semi-automatic rifle, Gendron went down to the Top supermarket at 1275 Jefferson Avenue in Buffalo, New York, wearing camouflage pants, donning body armor, and a military helmet with a mounted camera on it, which was broadcasting live on Twitch. As soon as this stream,
he broadcast his rampage on the people at the Top supermarket as if he was playing a video game. The same thing that Peter Hegseth and Donald Trump is doing with them going around murdering people in other countries. He did it like it was a video game.
starts, Gendron states, quote, "Just got to go for it," unquote. Gendron immediately opens up fire on 4 unsuspecting individuals, killing 3. Afterwards, Gendron walks into the store and starts shooting at anyone he sees who is black while yelling out racial slurs. Many of the employees hid in the break room while barricading the door with a heavy desk. Other customers were hidden by employees in the milk cooler and witnessed the shooter shooting in the cooler, but the milk cartons helped stop the bullets. During the shooting, former Buffalo Police Department officer Aaron Salter, who was working at the store as an armed security guard, engaged the shooter, but was unable to successfully neutralize Gendron due to his body armor. The shooter quickly returned fire, striking Salter several times and killing him instantly. 6 minutes later, Gendron walked to the front of the market to surrender to the police. In total, 10 people were murdered. Ruth Whitfield, 86, Pearl Young, 77, Catherine Massey, 72, Hayward Patterson, 67, Celeste Cheney, 65, Geraldine Talley, 62, Andre Macnell, 53, Marcus Morrison, 52, and Roberto Drury, 32 years of age. As the recording of this video, Peyton Grindon had been charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of attempted murder for those who
He should get the death penalty, and as soon as they sentence him, we shouldn't waste none of the taxpayers' money on this dude. As soon as they sentence him, they should carry out the execution. Because there's, it shouldn't be a death row, especially when there's no shadow of a doubt that he did this. 10 counts of murder. As soon as they sentence him to death, it should be carried out. And he should see it coming too. It shouldn't be no euthanizing him like they do a damn dog, even though that's what he is. Putting him to sleep in some safe sanitary ass execution. No, it should be the same way he took these people's lives, and he should see it coming. Not covering his face up. He should see it coming.
who he shot at, and 1 count of domestic terrorism, which he later ended up pleading guilty to all counts. After investigators did a background check on the shooter, it was found that he had threatened violence against students at a high school he was a student at the previous year, but was not arrested at the time, thus clearing him on being able to purchase the weapons he used in this massacre.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think the initial thought with Tops was that we would be okay after.
I'm going to move on from that story and go to the story in Ohio. The 75-year-old sister who was beat up by the 21-year-old over a order at a coffee shop in Tim Hortons. Now, there's no sound on this video, but the news tried to show it to make it seem as if the elder was the aggressor and she was not, by pausing it and doing different types of tricks with the video footage. Now we're going to see the elder walk in. This is the elder. She's 75 years old. It was a discrepancy. Her name was Anita Grayson. They said she stormed in. Did that look like she stormed in? Do this look like that woman stormed in? They said she stormed in. She said she stormed into the restaurant. It does not look like this sister stormed into the restaurant. I'm going to run it back one more time because they said she stormed in. She walked in that restaurant casual. That doesn't look like a storm. That looked like she walked in the restaurant. I mean, not in the restaurant, in the coffee house like anyone else would. A 17-year-old jumped on a 75-year-old woman, someone's old enough to be her great grandmother. And then you got a 20-year-old shift lead who allowed her to do it. She's only 3 years older than they both were children. They shouldn't have shift leads without not the shift lead being the only supervisor there. It should be somebody that's older than her. She may be the shift lead, but it should be a manager there with some type of maturity, not just a 20-year-old in charge of running a damn business, absent of a real adult. They're barely into adulthood. That 17-year-old probably disrespected her at the drive-thru. Probably disrespected her at the drive-thru, and now she pushed her aside. She pushed her aside. Pushed her aside, and then pushed the woman. The woman pushed her back, and then the older sister defended herself, and then she just attacked her, punched her in the face, knocked her to the floor, punching on her. A 75-year-old woman. This is what this young woman is doing, and they should have been pulled her off her. They should have been pulled her off her. She's still hitting her, kicking her, stomping. She should have never been allowed to come out there to confront that lady. She should have never been out there confronting that lady. She should have been said, go. She should have been told to go back where you were. What the hell you doing out here? Probably she was at the drive-thru. So why she all the way out there when she belonged at the drive-thru? She wanted a confrontation. The lady became unresponsive. I know she looked like she's okay now, but when she stood up, she couldn't, and she fell back down. And then she ended up succumbing to her injuries. This is why I say we have to protect our elders. We must protect our elders. It have to be dire consequences. See, she should have never been allowed to come and get in front of the shift lead. It should have never happened. It should have never happened. Should have never happened. See, look at the manipulation. When she came out there, she should have been told to go back to where she was. This happened in my town, she would have to leave town. I'm telling you, because the people in my community wouldn't have went for this. She would have to leave town. The people in my community wouldn't have went for this. You assaulting an elder, it'd be a problem. It'd be a serious problem. This woman was 75 years old, and she don't realize the trouble she's in right now. If that was my daughter, she would be in trouble. But she'd be in a lot of trouble with me. She was my daughter jumping on the elder. She'd be in a lot of trouble. Now we're gonna come back to New York. It's the last video of the evening, and this was crazy. The police in New York, I believe it's Brooklyn, they were doing a investigation about someone selling drugs, and they snatched up the first brother they seen in this store. I believe it was a liquor store. and they just repeatedly punched him, kicked him, threw him, dragged him. I mean, they just savagely beat this brother. And this brother was a security guard, just merely going to get something to drink on his day off. And then turns out that they knew, they didn't know at first, but it turns out that he was the wrong person. But even if he was the right person, they didn't have to do this to him. If he was the right person, this was uncalled for.
And 2 New York City police officers are under investigation tonight after some ugly footage surfaced of them roughing up a suspect.
I'm not understanding what is there to investigate when you have video footage of what they're doing. The process is bullshit. When you have video footage of what these men did, what these cops did to this man, and turn out he's not the guy that was supposed to be pursued, even if he was, this still was uncalled for. They should be terminated and charged. Both of them, they should be charged and terminated.
Suspect at a Brooklyn liquor store on an undercover drug sting at the time. They allegedly tried to arrest the wrong guy. Lilia Luciano has late details, and this is one of those stories where
they did not try to arrest him. They beat him because the man was not resisting. They were just beating him. If they would have said, put your hands behind your back or you're under arrest, they would have had him in custody. But no, they jumped on the man. Of course, the man's going to try to get away from him if you punch him and kicking him.
the video may be disturbing to some viewers.
Cell phone video captured 2 NYPD officers repeatedly punching a man in the face inside a Brooklyn liquor store yesterday afternoon. The violent exchange spills through the aisles, knocking bottles that shatter on the ground, seemingly cutting the man as he was dragged across the floor. One of the plainclothes officers, wearing an NYPD vest, is seen pushing and punching.
That is not resistance. When you jump on a man, of course he's going to try to get away from you. That's not resisting arrest. That's trying to live. That's what that is. And also, the crazy part about it, he's not even the right guy. And these dudes got the wrong information. It's so bad in New York, they don't even have radios. They were communicating on WhatsApp. They was communicating on WhatsApp. One of the largest police departments in the United States, probably the largest, and they were communicating on WhatsApp.
Him. At one point, appearing to kick the man in the head.
Give me your hand!
Bystanders begged the officers to stop. One officer responded, cursing and yelling back. Timothy Brown, a home health aide, says he is glad to be alive.
They just repeatedly hit me. My nose was broken, blood rushing from my nose. They had no remorse for beating me.
New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani condemned the arrest on X, calling the, quote, violence used by NYPD officers in this video extremely disturbing and unacceptable. NYPD Police Commissioner...
If it's unacceptable, the mayor should be in the face of whoever could terminate them and say, look, we have to get rid of them. If it's that bad, if it's that horrible, the mayor should have been like, they're done. That's all you had to do. If the mayor's, because the mayor can hire and they can fire and exchange the people around in the police department because he's the mayor. If you're the mayor, you can say, look, I don't want them. They done. We can't have, because it's bad for public relations having cops like that doing that to anyone.
Jessica Tisch says the officers have been placed on modified duty.
This matter is under internal review by our Internal Affairs Bureau, but I understand the community interest in it because it is an upsetting video.
And tonight, the NYPD said that the man that they were looking to interrogate as part of an undercover drug investigation in this area was wearing green shorts. That's what they were told, like Timothy Brown, but was not Timothy Brown. And although the NYPD said that he, Brown, would be charged with resisting an arrest, the DA told CBS News New York tonight that those charges, Tony, will be dropped.
Lilia, thank you very much.
I want to thank everyone for joining me this evening. Max V, my brother Maybach, all those who are watching and didn't make a comment. I want to thank everybody for coming through and hanging out with your brother for a little bit. I just had to stress my sentiment concerning our elders. We must protect our elders. It's imperative that we protect our elders because people are feeling like they can get away with it. Like there's no consequences for just jumping on and attacking our elders. That should be a dire consequence for attacking an elder or children. Dire consequences. Our community should not tolerate that. I don't care where our people are. If someone disrespects our elders, it's supposed to get checked on the spot. And it's supposed to be made emphatically known that you will not disrespect or attack our elders. If you do, it's a consequence to suffer if you attack our elders. Get until next time, this is your brother Nasir. This is the Enemies Public. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. If you haven't gotten your copies of Fire Book 2 and Fire, go to Amazon, go to books, type in Angela King James, FYRE, Fire Book 2 and Fire. Get yourselves a copy. It's a very good read. I recommend it. I'm not into novelties, but it's a very good book. Until next time, this is your brother Nasir. This is the Enemies Public. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.
Production. Giving out instructions. I just keep it intact, this is a fact, right and exact, I won't step back. Admiration is the feeling that inspires your brain to make you gain self-knowledge, not go insane.